Well, what's up, Candeo kids? I'm Drew.
And I'm Mason.
And we are so glad that you're letting us join you this morning. Our summer is almost over. We have like a few weeks left of the hot summer days. So enjoy them while you can. We sure are. But summer's going to come to a close. Your parents are going to go to work. Some of you are going to go back to school.
Actually, I'm going back to school.
You're going back to school?
Yeah.
Fourth grade? Fifth grade?
No. Teaching second grade. I'm going to be doing student teaching, so I'm even going back to school.
So it's almost school time. It's almost time for summer to end, and we are excited for this new time where maybe some of you are going to be coming back to church to see us, and some of you are going to keep joining us on this platform. But today, for our activity, I want to make sure that everyone in your family is in your living room. So if your mom or your dad's in the kitchen, maybe doing the dishes or getting some breakfast ready, pull them in. If your brother's upstairs because he hasn't gotten out of bed yet because he's lazy, go get him. Bring him downstairs. Bring him in front of the TV. Everyone in your family's got to be here for this activity that we got.
Yeah, so if you need to, just pause it right here. Go get your family together and then start it back up. And then you'll be ready to join us.
Good plan, all right? Now everyone's with us, all right?
Yes.
Everyone's with us.
Yeah,
Okay?
everybody's good.
Here. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have a little question and answer time for the whole family. So we're gonna pose maybe a silly question, maybe a serious question, and everyone in the whole family's got to answer. So mom and dad, you're on this one too, okay?
Yep.
Our first question is this, and you'll see it on the screen afterwards. What was your favorite memory from this summer? All right, talk about that right now. Make sure everyone shares. All right, so Mason, what was your favorite memory from this summer?
Guys, if you didn't know yet, my favorite memory of the summer would definitely have to be getting engaged, but closely second to that would have to be Family Week. Making those videos for Family Week was a ton of fun. All right, guys, the second question is, if you could be any animal, which animal would you be and why? So Drew, if you could be any animal, which animal would you be and why would you be that animal?
I've thought about this a lot. This has been something that I've really been thinking about for a few weeks now.
Yeah.
And I would definitely be a dolphin because I already live on land, so I know everything that there is to do on land. But I don't live under the water, and everybody likes dolphins. I mean, you can't not like dolphins. They can do like backflips and stuff. And
I mean, I love dolphins.
they can shoot hoops or like shoot
with their
their
nose.
little nose. I can't even do that.
No,
so.
that's a great answer.
So I would choose to be a dolphin. Our last question, the third one, everyone's got to answer, is this. If you could go anywhere in the whole world, anywhere, where would you go? All right, Mason, anywhere in the whole world, where would you go?
Drew, just like you, I've been thinking about this question for quite a while now. Yeah, it's almost like I knew you were going to ask it. But I would love to go to Australia.
Oh, what's there?
I mean, I just love animals, and I feel like, whenever you talk about animals and animals being places, I feel like Australia just has a bunch of them. So, I mean, I would love to go to Australia and see all the different animals.
But there's like snakes there and stuff like that. I don't know. That's your opinion. That's his.
Yeah, come on. It's where I want to go, Drew, not where you want to go.
You know, I would go to my grandma's house, just for the record. It's my favorite place. So for the last few weeks, we've been following this man named Joshua, who's been leading God's people through the wilderness to the promised land. And today we're going to hear from Joshua one last time.
And these last words are very important. So make sure this week that you pay attention to the video, and we'll be back with you guys after to ask some questions.
Many years had passed since Joshua and the Israelites had defeated Jericho, Ai, and the kings of the land. God allowed the Israelites to rest from battles against their enemies.
Joshua was getting old. He gathered all the people of Israel because he had some important things to say to them. Joshua said, "You have seen everything the Lord your God has done. He has fought battles for you. All of the land that remains will be yours too." Joshua continued, "Be careful to obey everything that is in the book of the law of Moses. Do not turn aside from it. Do not mix with the nations in this land or worship their gods. Cling to God, just as you have done."
Joshua spoke more to the Israelites. He said, "All of you know that God has kept every one of his promises. But know for certain that if you disobey God, you will die in this land he has given you."
Joshua reminded all the people about the things God had done for them in the past. Joshua reminded them of everything from when God called Abraham and gave him a son, Isaac, to when God gave Isaac two sons, Jacob and Esau. He reminded them that Jacob's children went to Egypt, where God sent Moses and Aaron.
Joshua told the people about how God had rescued the Israelites from the Egyptians, bringing them safely across the Red Sea and saving them from the Egyptians who were chasing them. Joshua reminded them of the many battles they had fought and won because God was fighting for them. God had done so many great things for his people.
Joshua commanded the people, "Fear the Lord and worship him. If you don't want to worship God, choose to worship the gods your fathers worshiped. But as for me and my family, we will worship Yahweh." The people replied, "We will certainly not abandon the Lord to worship other gods. We know how much God has done for us, and we love him."
On that day, Joshua made a covenant with the people. He wrote it down in the book of the law of God. He also took a large stone and set it under an oak tree next to the sanctuary of the Lord. "You see this stone," Joshua said, "it will be a reminder of your duty to serve the Lord, who fulfilled every promise in bringing you into this land." Then Joshua sent the people away. Each man went to the land he had inherited.
Joshua was very old. He talked to God's people and told them to obey God even after he, Joshua, died. After Jesus died and was raised from the dead, he talked to his friends. Jesus wanted them to tell other people about him. Now Jesus lives in heaven, and he wants us to tell other people about him too.
So Joshua's very last words to God's people were essentially, remember. Remember how God has been faithful to them. Remember what God has done for Israel. And God has done so many things.
Yeah, he has. He's done so many things since the Israelites left Egypt. I mean, you guys probably remember some of the last couple weeks, from defeating Ai to crossing the Jordan River to defeating Jericho. I mean, there was even more over the past couple weeks. We've seen every week how God continues to be faithful to his people. And so here's a couple questions for you guys for this week.
Joshua told God's people to remember a man named Abraham. Do you remember who Abraham was and what did God promise him? Talk about that right now with the people that you're with. God chose Abraham to make his descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky, and said that he would bless the entire world through Abraham's family.
All right, great job, guys. Joshua also told God's people to remember Joseph. Do you guys remember Joseph? And do you remember where his brothers sold him into slavery at? That's right. If we remember the story of Joseph, we remember that he was sold into slavery to Egypt, but then became king of Egypt and ended up saving his family.
Joshua also told God's people to remember when they were in slavery in Egypt. Do you remember who it was that led God's people out of slavery in Egypt and on their way to start their journey to the Promised Land? What was that man's name? Talk about that right now with your family. God chose a man named Moses to lead his people out of slavery in Egypt and on their way to the Promised Land.
Joshua also told God's people to remember other ways in which God had saved them and provided for them. Do you guys remember other ways that God provided for his people? That's exactly right, guys. There were so many ways that God provided for his people. And some of those ways that we got to see were him parting the Red Sea and stopping the Jordan River and defeating Ai and defeating the 5 kings and leading them through Jericho. There's even more ways than that God provided for them. But those are just some of the ways. It's just amazing how God continued to provide for his people then and even today.
Well, thanks for joining us this morning, Candeo kids. If you didn't know, we have an option for you to come to church and hang out with us in Candeo Kids. Only, though, if you're 0 to 4 years old. So if you're 0 to 4 years old, you have an option to come and hang out with us in person, and we hope to see some of you there.
And that will be taking place during 2nd and 3rd service on Sunday mornings. But again, guys, we thank you for joining us this week, and we hope to see you guys again next week.